I'm Fatty T from Cultaholic. You are a sexual wank pheasant, and welcome to all of these WTF moments from Friday Night SmackDown. And after last week's Raw, the go-home Raw for TLC, bigged up, hyped up, absolutely nothing to do with TLC. I was thinking, right, SmackDown, strap ourselves in. Let's make TLC feel like something important. One match on the TLC card was made to feel more important, bigger than it was before Friday Night SmackDown started, as Bray Wyatt went very weird. And I liked it, Michael. But outside of that, we had a couple of good tag team matches. Dash Wilder fell flat on his arse, and that was your story. Bloody hell, hit the intro. WTF! That there has to be the biggest, sweatiest, most succulent hot take of the entire decade when you consider the success of the XFL way back in the day. But while we're talking about the XFL, 2020 is coming next year. I cannot bloody wait. How were the Seattle Dragons? I picked them because they're dragons. So next up we have big bally bastard Baron Corbin, who of course poured some dog food on top of Roman Reigns' head on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. He was still in the ring on this week's episode saying, "Woof, there's a bit of a pong in this ring, me crab pace." He was asking what that smell could be, and of course the first thing I was asking, could it be Dolph Ziggler, who probably smells like a nonce? Don't tell me you weren't thinking the same thing. Dressed like that, he needs his hard drive checked immediately. Anyway, because the smell of the dog food used on the big dog was lingering around and inside the ringside area, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin said, "I can only take so much. Let's get out of here quickly." He then proceeded to stand in the ring for about half an hour, speaking some words that didn't really say anything that we didn't already know. Waste of time, Corbin. One Cultaholic related thing at Friday Night SmackDown, as far as I could see, a big thank you to Norris Campbell for wearing that thing when he went to the show last week. Next time you go to a show, do what Norris did. Hey now, Big E, you can say a lot of things about big baldy bastard Baron Corbin, but one thing you simply cannot say is that big baldy bastard Baron Corbin's crown looks like a Burger King crown. Because if there's three things I know about in this world, it's burgers and crowns and Burger King crowns. I've said this before and I'll say it again. In terms of capes and crowns and scepters in WWE, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin's is the best by some distance. It looks really cool. And then it finally happened. They mentioned Kofi Kingston being a former WWE champion as part of a televised storyline on the main roster. It's canon. It's a thing that exists. "Oh, you like magical unicorns?" big baldy bastard Baron Corbin said. "Well, Kofi, why don't you show us the trick where Brock Lesnar took away your championship in 7 seconds? He followed up. Stamp the respect on Kofi's name that Kofi's name deserves, fools. I played too much San Andreas this weekend. But on a more serious note, since Kofi Kingston dropped the title to Brock Lesnar, all we've heard from people on screen on WWE TV is how Kofi Kingston is a 7-time tag team champion, the WWE superstar who has held tag team gold the most days in the company's history. Rarely have these people on our television reminded us that Kofi Kingston is a former WWE champion. It's almost as if somebody in a power position in the company is ashamed at Kofi's reign. Why wouldn't you mention this more? It's a thing that makes him bigger than most of the other superstars on the show, is it not? Thank God they got there though. Kofi then said he defended his WWE championship against all comers, against the best competition. Well, from my point of view anyway, the main thing that hampered Kofi Kingston's WWE Championship reign was the standard of his opponents. Cast your minds back to the start of the summer. Randy Orton, underwhelming. Dolph Ziggler, a name that should be nowhere near the WWE Championship. Now Kofi himself, he was a fighting champion, as he said there, but the reign, it was not against the best. Kofi, don't try and paint it as something that it's not. And before you say it, I know that injuries played their part with Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens and people like that, but still, you know. I know funny, this is not funny, Dolph Ziggler said to the New Day, as it was shown that even the people who were paid by WWE to act and roll around in the underwear and stuff are not on board with the absolute nonsense we're seeing from King Corbin and the rest of his merry goons on Friday Night SmackDown. But it's just weird that Dolph Ziggler would say this. He's supposed to find every single thing big baldy bastard Baron Corbin does and says the funniest thing to happen since something really funny that happened. That's Michael P.S. Hayes. Now I know that it looks like a random assailant has broken into Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin's dressing room and beaten up Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin's security guards, but that could not have happened. Not with Michael Pretty Sexy Hayes around. Every single one of Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin's security guards were not KO'd by a random assailant. They were KO'd by all of the weed and all of the whiskey and all of them sweet honeys. And next up we have a direct quote from Alexa Bliss, who said, "I don't understand why Mandy tries to take things to a personal level. She's just a bully." Now I might be going a bit too far here, but when WWE just disregard a portion of history and pretend it didn't happen, it does my little brain here. What Alexa Bliss said there is comparable, right? Imagine if Ted Bundy got released from prison, and then when he got released from prison, Ted Bundy was like, "No, I'm not a murderer, me." We all know that Alexa Bliss is a babyface now, but how can she call somebody a bully after that Nia Jax storyline and every other pissing storyline from about 2016 to 2018? Unbelievable. Now my ears spotted this because my ears have eyes as well as ears. But once upon a time, AJ Styles told us that it's all about the little things in the professional wrestling. The song that Sami Zayn was humming right there was by the Vandals, and it was called People That Are Going to Hell, which he thinks about everybody else apart from himself and Big Dick Tony and bloody Shinsuke Nakamura on Friday Night SmackDown. A little thing, it was good detail. Now, as we all know, when the Revival are making their entrance, they like to turn around and point to the FTR that appears on their arses and their backs. But wouldn't you just know it, Dash Wilder got his maths incredibly Pete-tongue. He did not see that bit of staging sticking out a bit further than he thought it was, and he went arse over tit, and it was bloody glorious. I guess you could say now that Dash Wilder is no flips, just slips. Or you could say that Dash Wilder's no flips, just trips. Dash Wilder became Trash Wilder, but he loved every single second about it, and that's what made this moment all the more better. Just imagine if Kalisto, you know him, the crackless wonder, if he did something like that, he would have a go at fans who having a go at him for falling flat on his arse. Well done, Dash Wilder, for having a sense of humour. I'll never forget about Kalisto blocking my pal Kenny McIntosh, by the way. That's where that came from. But interestingly, I don't know if you picked up on this, Dash Wilder said, as he was making his way down the ramp on his feet, he said the following: "Where the hell's it gone? I did that on purpose. It's my new character. I did that on purpose. It's my new gimmick." Well, we haven't seen Titus World slide for a while, so it looks like the torch has been passed. It wouldn't be passed, would it? The torch has been dropped, and then Dash Wilder picked it up off the floor before going arse over tea kettle. Lovely stuff. Everyone saw what happened here, didn't they? Even my hamster Alan, who was asleep in his house with his eyes closed, saw what happened here as Shorty G reversed a thing. Is that going to be a bulldog? I don't know, but he reversed that thing into a belly-to-belly on Scott Dawson. Not Michael Cole, though, of course, because his first reaction after those bodies hit the old floor was, "Oh my God, Shorty G face first!" He was the one doing the move, Michael. You wouldn't scream, "Oh my God, Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin takes a rock bottom" when he hits the end of days, would you? Even though you probably could, but you wouldn't, would you? Open your eyes, you mole. I'll show him. And next up we have the moment where Bayley revealed that Sasha Banks is releasing a rap album. Dana Brooke, what are you doing, fam? You've got Drake Maverick coming at you in one direction. You've got Dave Bautista coming at you from another direction. You're coming back to Dave Bautista, but ignoring Drake Maverick. But you're also coming in the direction of Elias. And he's coming back at you. And because I'm a hack with zero talent who knows nothing about the professional wrestling industry on the YouTubes, I'm here with some hack theory. What Dana Brooke is doing by playing the biggest of big fields, which includes an animal who walks alone inside a pit of danger. She is telling us that Dave Bautista's willy is in fact very, very small. The mystery has been solved. I mean, what am I supposed to take from what happened in that scene there on Friday Night SmackDown? Bautista's willy, it's just not enough for Dana, therefore it must be tiny. But then we have the rather confusing concept that Elias did a babyface song to the heel Bayley, even though in recent weeks Elias and Dana Brooke have been heelish towards Drake Maverick. The poor boy. But during that song, Elias claimed that Bayley asked Santa Claus himself for a threesome with himself and Sasha Banks, but Elias had to turn that down because Bayley, with a short haircut, looks like a dude. And one question here, Elias, if Bayley and Sasha Banks are asking you for a threesome, what's wrong with you? Hop on in, man, fill your boots. And then we have a direct quote from Michael Cole, who said, and apparently Sasha Banks is out recording a rap album. I can't wait to hear that, guys. Michael Cole, if you cannot wait to hear that rap album, and if down the line when Sishy Bunks has released it, if you say, guys, it's really good, it's really cool, the people who actually want to hear this rap album and should hear that rap album will not want to hear that rap album. Just shut your mouth. And then Dana Brooke did a bloody Batista bomb, and I could not Adam and Eve it. Get those two lovebirds booked in a WrestleMania mixed tag team match with a massive big old wrestling wedding booked for SummerSlam 2020. It needs to happen. The Miz's house is really weird, isn't it? So as we all saw, we went round to the Miz's house for some tea and to watch an interview that he did with Renee Young. But as you can see here, and we'll make it full screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. We found ourselves in a room where the table has been in front of a doorway, where a sofa has been put on the other side of the doorway. That's not a mirror there before you say it. Look at the Intercontinental Championship. And then there's a long table right in front of the doorway where there are a series of red and blue buttons. And I'm asking why. Does The Miz like to play president when he's at home? Red button, bang, boom. I'm just asking what those are supposed to be. What a weird room. And then we had one of the greatest moments in SmackDown history as, yes, Huskus the Pig Boy, Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Witch, and Ramblin' Rabbit all got in Monroe Sky's bed or cot, whatever you want to call it, with the threat of torturing her and or eating her. This is the sort of wrestling content I'm here for. But then the real WTF moment about this, because of course normal not normal Bray Wyatt would do something weird like this, was the concern Maurice showed as she ran through the house, reaching speeds of 0.1 miles an hour. I could move quicker, and I weigh 484 pounds allegedly. But speaking about the scene as a whole, with Bray Wyatt sending his puppets to terrorise an infant child, it's outside the box. I liked it. More of this, please. I couldn't tell what the reaction was like online. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought it was great, me. More of this outside the box stuff that just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. It's lovely. But then we closed this scene with the sight of a creepy doll that Bray Wyatt left inside Monroe Sky's cot. A creepy doll that Monroe Sky should have been really, really, really scared of. But as you can see right here, a creepy doll that Monroe Sky just wanted to play with. Now, of course, this could have been a thing that was supposed to happen because, you know, Bray Wyatt brainwashing children, leading them to a field, killing them with a massive chainsaw. That's a thing that could happen. But also, I do think that Monroe Sky was supposed to be scared of that thing in the cot, but she wasn't. And The Miz and Maurice were being bad parents by preventing their child from having the thing she wanted. Bad parenting, maybe. And also, while we're here, Mike and Maurice, what about your other child? What about Madison Jade Mizanin? All the focus was on Monroe. Where was Madison Jade? I am worried for her safety. Bray Wyatt reckons the Marine 5 was fire? You're sick. You're sick, man. The original 4 members of the NWO WWE, you are taking the piss with that branding. Now, I've got nothing against X-Pac going into the Hall of Fame once again, but calling him the 4th member of the NWO is not only a slap in the face to us fans who watched WCW back in the day, but it's also a slap to the actual 4th member of the NWO, is certain Mr. Ted DiBiase. Stop rewriting history just for the sake of rewriting history, will you, Triple H, man?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Direct quote from Corey Graves this time when he said Kofi Kingston has fared very, very well in ladder matches. And immediately, I thought, bloody hell, Corey, I can't remember a single time Kofi Kingston won Money in the Bank, even though he's been in quite literally every single Money in the Bank ladder match. Not every, most of them. Referee's discretion is a load of bollocks. That main event match on Friday Night SmackDown was called off because 2 people who weren't involved in the match but were at ringside managing the 2 people who were involved in the match, those 2 people who weren't involved in the match were brawling on the outside. So the referee called the match that was happening inside the ring off. I know Kofi sort of got involved, but when the DQ actually happened, Big E and Ziggler, they were brawling. Kofi and the King, they were brawling. What did he do that for? And then we had Michael Cole trying to pull the wool over our eyes, because that's really cool when he said that Robert Roode is out injured. Come on. Time for some more hack theories. I guessed that Robert Roode must have dropped his Nokia 3310 on his foot when WWE phoned him up and told him, pal, you're suspended for a wellness policy violation. That's definitely what happened. And then, when he dropped his phone on his foot, he fell backwards, took a bump on some concrete, split his head open. Injured. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. And then Michael Cole claimed, of course, that Kofi Kingston's feud with Dolph Ziggler over the summer was great! He said it was great. And I guess these things are subjective, but in this case, Michael Cole, this thing is not subjective. That feud was objectively crap because Dolph Ziggler should have never been near that thing to begin with. So there. Now, I was a bit hesitant about making this a WTF moment because, as we saw on last week's SmackDown, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler did the same thing to Roman Reigns. Like all good criminals, it would appear they have their own calling card. The wet bandits from Home Alone, they turn on the taps before they leave. The sticky bandits from Home Alone, they wrap their hand in sticky stuff, then dip their hand in charity buckets. Ziggler and Corbin tied people up around the ring post. But I was sat there watching Ziggler and Corbin, and then the imagery, just insensitive's the word, isn't it? And I don't think my case would have been helped by the fact I listened to the New Day's podcast yesterday when I was told by the New Day themselves that one of the names pitched to them by WWE when they first got together was The Tribe. It's unbelievable stuff, isn't it? And we end these WTF moments for Friday Night SmackDown with where was the reference to the bloke under the ring on last week's show? He helped King Corbin pin Roman Reigns to that ring post, yet there was no reference to him on this week's show. Continuity's fantastic as always. I'll see you tomorrow for some TLC WTF moments. All the best to you. Merry Christmas, as well. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter @Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can play us to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us